Alright, welcome back to the garage. In the last episode we took the subframe and diff out to weld in some reinforcing plates, so in this episode we'll be putting all that stuff back in with new bushings. Let me show you what I have. So I had taken the subframe and diff back up to my house to use the press to remove the bushings, which worked pretty well. And these polyurethane ones go in pretty easy. I'll just slide in by hand with a little bit of lube. For the diff, we've got 2 new bushings for the ears. For the subframe, 4 new bushings and a diff bushing. And then over here, I've got 2 new rear upper ball joints because I realized the ones on the car were cooked. So I found these laying around. I've got a used one here, still in good shape, and I've got a new one, but it has a torn boot. So I'll have to steal a boot off one of the ones that we remove and put it on this one. And for removing and installing these, I've always had problems with them. If you've dealt with them before, you know that they're kind of a pain. So I'm going to try just a regular ball joint press and see how that works. Looks like it should get the job done. So we'll give that a try. And the goal for today is to get the whole rear end all buttoned up back together. That would be huge. So let's get started. All bushings are installed. Alright, before I get started on the subframe, I want to try and do these rear upper ball joints here. So you can see this one's pretty bad. But in order to get access in here with the regular ball joint press, I'm going to have to take the caliper off, which it needs brake pads anyway, so I've got some fresh pads to put in. Take the rotor off, and I'm either going to have to fold over this heat shield, or I'm thinking I'm just going to cut a line here because it's angled into the heat shield, so we're going to need to make some room there, or maybe we can just flex it over. We'll see how it goes. This method might not be for you if you care about your heat shield. Yeah, it looks like I could just bend this out of the way and then we can bend it back. There we go. That ought to do it. Just barely. Too easy. Look at that. Piece of cake. This is the best thing I've done all day. Freaking love that. Super easy. Got it. So the boots on the ones that I took out are pretty cracked up. I don't think they're good to use, but I did some digging around and I found a new one in box. So we have 2 new ones now, but this one still has a torn boot. So I'll take a boot off this used one I was going to use. We'll put it on that, and then we can actually have 2 new ones. There we have it. Boot swap. Fresh boot. Ready to go. Let's put these bad boys in. Perfect. Alright, with those rear upper ball joints in, time to move on to the subframe. So first step is putting these studs back up in for the front mounts, and then we can mount up the subframe. Alright, time for the dip. Let's see what we can do. Got it. Whew. Alright, back at the garage for another day of work. It's been a couple days since I've been here. I left off with getting the subframe and diff installed. What's left to do under there is the axles and drive shaft, but I'm not super stoked to get under there yet, so I figured I've got something quick and kind of easy to get us going, because I've got this really gross broken shift knob. Very gross. We have this nicer weighted M3 knob. Oh yeah. It's way better. Okay. Now time to get under the car. Alright, I don't think I'm going to film too much more under the car. It's kind of a pain and I don't think it's very fun to watch. So I'm going to put the drive shaft and axles in, and then that'll have the rear buttoned up for now. To get it 100%, I have a parking brake cable on the way because this side's broken. I'd like to have a parking brake. And then I have new shock mounts coming because they're blown out. And when we put those in, I can also put the reinforcing plates in. So after that, the rear will be 100%, but for now, just drive shaft and axles, and then we can move to the front and start putting in the wire harness. Alright, decided to put these sway bar reinforcing tabs in. I should have done this while it was out of the car, but we're here now, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in because that mount was actually cracked. So, yep, let's do it. Alright, so axles are in and sway bar reinforcements are in. Looks okay. Before I put the sway bar in, I have some new links to put on because these are pretty shot. Yeah, it's not going to cut it, so put some new links on and then put the sway bar in the car. With new hardware. Done. Alright, I've been a busy beaver under the car here, so let me show you what you missed. I went ahead and tossed the new springs in with the perches, and we got the sway bar in with our new links, and those reinforcement tabs, I'm going to paint them up right before I leave so I don't have to smell the spray paint. So if we hop underneath here, we can see that I got the drive shaft in. I'm reusing the old center support bearing, it was in good shape, and I've got a new Guibo flex disc, whatever you want to call it, up front there. Don't look at my rust hole, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the rear for now. Still have a few little bits and pieces to tidy up back here. We're going to have to figure out the parking brakes and install all the wheel speed sensors and whatnot. But for the most part, this is about 90% done. Like I said, I didn't do too much filming under the car. It's pretty difficult to film under there, so just pretend that you're watching some underexposed shot of me tightening bolts, and that's pretty much all you missed. So in the next video, I'm going to start working on getting the wiring harness installed and get the engine ready to run. That's my next goal. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you later. Bye.